Moi everyone and welcome to Finish Your Plate. So we made it through January and now it's time for Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is not really that big of an event in Finland. It's certainly not as big as in the US, and it's more known as Friends Day, and it's celebrated more by children and adolescents than adults. I think maybe over the past couple of years, maybe a decade or so, it's gotten a little bit more popular with adults, but it's still nowhere like it is in the US. However, to celebrate Valentine's Day, I'm gonna make a cake which is has a funny name. It's called in Finland, it's known as Boston cake. Now, why it's funny is because I don't think it's known in Boston at all. I have no idea where the name came from, but I'm going to actually be making it in heart shape today. Also, while it's proofing, I'm going to go through a couple of these heart-shaped items I found on the Finnish web store. So we'll taste these and see how they are. All right, so for the cake, I have here about 8 ounces of body temperature milk. I have about 100 grams of butter. Then I have here about 1 deciliter of sugar. I have here 2¼ teaspoons of yeast, dried yeast, about a teaspoon of salt, and then I have about 2 teaspoons of cardamom. Of course, you gotta have cardamom. And then I have here about 4 cups of regular all-purpose flour. And also an egg. Okay, so I'm gonna take this warm milk and mix the sugar in, the salt, cardamom, add the yeast, and start mixing in some of the flour. I'm gonna add the egg. And add a little bit more of the flour, little by little. So now when it's like thick paste, now I'm going to switch over to the machine. Now I'm going to be adding the flour gradually into the mixer. And now that most of the flour is in, I just have a little bit of flour left here. I'm going to add the melted butter. Okay, so now that the dough is smooth and it releases from the bowl, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover it and put it in the warm to proof, and it can proof until it's doubled in size. So while the dough is proofing, Let's take a look at these heart-shaped items that I found on the Finnish web store. So first we have here is the Tafel Hearts snacks. It says corn snacks with nacho cheese flavor. Taste these. Let's see how they are. They are heart-shaped. They have like a buttery kind of flavor from the cheese. Not quite the same kind of cheese flavor that the cheese curls have. Toffel cheese curls, which are great. So fun fact: these actually come from Åland, the Åland Islands, which is these islands in front of the Turku archipelago between Finland and Sweden. It's a very special area in more ways than one. Very beautiful area too. If you get a chance to visit, I would definitely recommend it. All right, so the other items that I found were the Fazer chocolates, which of course this is a classic Finnish chocolate, so there is no question what's in here. So of course it's a heart-shaped box filled with the traditional Fazer chocolates. And same with the geisha chocolate. These are very classic Finnish. These are hazelnut filled chocolates, which I think these are really excellent. These ones have a very hazelnutty filling, which I think that's interesting because in the US, of course, peanut is a very traditional filling in chocolates, paired with chocolates. In Europe, it's more hazelnut, and these have a very classic hazelnut praline filling kind of a taste. All right. So the other items that I found was this halva heart jelly hearts. Let's take a look. These are very soft. You wouldn't think that they are as soft as they are when you look at them, but I don't know if you could tell, but when you squeeze them, you can notice how soft these are. They have a nice fruity, actually maybe more than fruity, maybe it's more like berry-like flavor. But the texture definitely is not, it's not as chewy as, say, a gummy bear. Not that kind of a texture. It's very, very easy to chew. And then last, I have here the Panda, which is another traditional Finnish confectionery company. And I have their hearts. Looks like raspberry jelly filling. Chocolate hearts with raspberry jelly filling. Let's take a look. These ones are perfect for Valentine's Day. If you're looking for something cute to give your significant other who's Finnish for Valentine's Day, get this maybe. Let's take a look. Taste it. These ones are not quite as sweet as these jellies, but they definitely have that raspberry flavor. And the dark chocolate that they use too, it's not quite as sweet, which goes great with the raspberry filling. All right. So out of all these though, I would say that my favorite is probably still the geisha chocolate. However, the panda hearts were really good. These ones, the truffle hearts, these were great as a salty snack, but I think I would still go for the original Juusto snacks. All right, so the dough is still proving. We're gonna wait until it's proofed. We'll be back. All right, so the dough has proofed. So I'm just gonna flour the work surface. Punch the dough. And now I'm just gonna roll the dough into a sheet. So now that this has been rolled into a sheet, I'm just going to take, this is about 100 grams of butter, spread it all over. And we're going to sprinkle about 1 deciliter of sugar over it. Try to get the lumps out. And about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. And now we're going to roll this like a jelly roll. And now we're going to cut this into pieces. Going to arrange these onto our mold that I buttered and covered with breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to let this rise once more, and then I'm going to bake it. Okay, so the rolls have been proofing for a little bit, so now I'm just going to brush them with some butter. I'm going to sprinkle on some ground almonds. And last, I'm going to sprinkle some pearl sugar. Okay, this is going to go in the oven, 350 degrees, about 35 minutes. Okay, so the Boston cake is out of the oven. I've let it cool down for a little bit. So now I need to remove it from the pan. Let's see how that works out. Ta-da! All right. And here we go. Finnish heart-shaped Boston cake. Completely not made in Boston. Happy Valentine's Day, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Finish Your Plate.